Hey, did you know that over 50% of new aquarium owners make at least one major mistake in their first year of fish keeping? These errors can lead to stress disease and even fish loss. But don't worry, we're here to help you beat the odds and create a thriving aquatic paradise. Now, today, we're going to turn you into aquarium detectives. You know, like those crime scene investigators on TV, but for fish tanks. We'll use something called problem-based learning to solve common fish keeping mysteries. It's like putting on your detective hat and figuring out what's really going on in your underwater world. By the end of this video, you'll have the skills to diagnose and solve common aquarium problems. Think of it as your secret weapon for creating a healthier environment for your fish. So are you ready to dive in and uncover the hidden dangers lurking in your fish tank? Let's get started. All right, fish fans, let's talk about something that might just blow your mind. You got your tank set up, it looks beautiful, and you're excited to add fish. But hold on, there's a crucial step that many aquarists miss, and it's costing fish their lives. What if I told you that your brand new crystal clear water could be more dangerous than a shark infested ocean? I know, it sounds crazy, right? But trust me, this is no joke. We're about to dive into the world of the invisible enemy, an uncycled tank. It's like having a bustling underwater city without a proper waste management system. Can you imagine New York City without garbage trucks? That's basically what an uncycled tank is like for your fish. Now, picture this. You've just set up your new aquarium. The water's clear. The decorations are perfect. And you can't wait to see your fish swimming around. So you head to the pet store. You pick out some beautiful fish and plop them into your new home. At first, everything seems fine, but then you notice something's off. Your fish are acting weird. They're not as active as they should be, and some of them are gasping at the surface like they can't breathe. What's going on? Well, my friends, you've just witnessed the effects of an uncycled tank. It's like moving into a house where the toilets don't flush. Things are going to get messy really quick. You see, in a new tank, there aren't any beneficial bacteria to break down the waste your fish produce. This waste turns into ammonia, which is super toxic to fish. It's like they're swimming in their own poison. But don't worry, I've got your back. The solution to this problem is something called cycling your tank. It's like training a team of tiny invisible janitors to keep your underwater city clean. These beneficial bacteria convert the harmful ammonia into less harmful substances through a process we call the nitrogen cycle. Now here's a quick rundown of how it works. First, you've got bacteria that turn ammonia into nitrates. Then another group of bacteria turns those nitrates into nitrates. It's like a microscopic assembly line working 24/7 to keep your tank clean and your fish healthy. Now, I know what you're thinking, but how long does this take? I want my fish now. I get it. I really do. But here's the thing. Patience is key in the aquarium hobby. A proper cycle usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks. I know, it seems like forever when you're excited to get started. But trust me, it's worth the wait. There are a few ways to cycle your tank. You can do a fishless cycle by adding ammonia to feed the bacteria, or you can use a filter media from an established tank to jumpstart the process. Whatever method you choose, the important thing is to test your water regularly. You want to see that ammonia spike, then drop as nitrates appear, and finally see nitrates showing up That's how you know your invisible cleanup crew is on the job. Now remember, a cycled tank is a happy tank. Your fish will thank you for it, and you'll avoid the heartbreak of losing your new aquatic friends to something totally preventable. Plus, once your tank is cycled, maintaining it becomes so much easier. It's like having a self-cleaning fish home. All right, so now that you got your tank cycled, you're in the clear, right? Wrong. There's a hidden danger lurking in your tap water that could undo all your hard work. What if I told you that your routine water changes might actually be harming your fish? You know, as fish keepers, we often hear about the importance of regular water changes. It's like giving your underwater world a fresh start, right? But here's the thing, not all water is created equal. In fact, the crystal clear stuff coming out of your tap could be more dangerous than you think. Picture that you've been diligently changing your tank water every week, feeling pretty good about yourself, right? But suddenly you notice your fish aren't looking so hot. They're sluggish, their colors seem dull, and some are even gasping at the surface. What's going on? You're doing everything right, aren't you? Well, you might be dealing with what I like to call the chlorine conundrum. You see, most tap water contains chlorine. It's great for keeping drinking water safe, but for fish, not so much. It's like dropping them into a pool. Sure, it looks clean, but it's definitely not where the fish want to live. Chlorine is seriously bad news for your aquatic buddies. It can damage their gills, making it hard for them to breathe. And that's not all. Remember those beneficial bacteria we talked about earlier? The ones that keep your tank clean? Chlorine kills them too. It's like firing your entire underwater cleaning crew in one go. But don't panic. There is a simple solution to this problem, and it's called a dechlorinator. These magical little products neutralize the chlorine in your tap water, making it safe for your fish and those hardworking bacteria. Using a dechlorinator is like giving your fish a VIP pass to swim in the most safest, most comfortable water possible. Now, you might be thinking, but I've been doing water changes without a dechlorinator and my fish seem fine. Trust me, I've heard this before. The thing is, chlorine damage isn't always immediately visible. It's more like a slow burn, gradually stressing your fish and weakening their immune systems. Over time, this can lead to all sorts of health problems. So how do you use dechlorinator? Well, it's simple, easy. Just add the recommended amount to your new water before you put it in the tank. Most products will tell you how much to use based on the volume of water you're treating. It's a small step that makes a huge difference in the health of your aquarium. And here's a pro tip. Always keep your dechlorinator handy. You never know when you might need to, in an emergency, add water or do a water change. And the last thing you want is to be caught without it. It's like keeping a first aid kit for your fish. You hope you won't need it, but you'll be glad when it's there when you do. Now remember, folks, good intentions aren't always enough when it comes to fish keeping. We might think we're doing a fish a favor, but giving them fresh water. But if the water is full of chlorine, we're actually doing more harm than good. It's all about understanding the needs of your underwater friends and taking the right steps to meet those needs. Now, you might think you're doing everything right by your fish, but there's one daily habit that could be slowly poisoning your aquatic friends. Can you guess what it is? It's something most fish keepers do with the best intentions, yet it's a silent killer in many tanks. I'm talking about feeding time. You know, that one moment when your fish swim up to greet you, their little mouths opening and closing as if feed me. It's hard to resist, right? You want to make sure fish are well fed and happy. But here's the thing, that extra pinch of good food you're tossing in might be doing more harm than good. Let me paint you a picture. Your fish are looking a bit sluggish lately. They're not as active as they used to be. And you've noticed the water in your tank is getting cloudy. You're changing the water regularly. You've got your filter running. So what's going on? Well, you might have fallen into the overfeeding trap. You see, fish don't need as much food as we think they do. In fact, overfeeding is one of the most common mistakes in aquarium keeping. It's like trying to show love to your kid by giving them ice cream for every meal. Sounds nice, but it's not exactly healthy, is it? When you overfeed your fish, all that extra food doesn't just disappear. It breaks down in the water, releasing all sorts of nasty stuff that can throw your tank's balance way off. It's like hosting a party and leaving all the trash to rot. Things are going to get messy really quick, but don't worry, I've got your back. The key is to find the right balance. You want to feed your fish enough to keep them healthy, but not so much that you're polluting their home. So how do you do that? Well, here's a simple rule of thumb. Feed your fish only what they can consume in a few minutes, usually once or twice a day. And here's a pro tip. Watch your fish closely during feeding time. If they start refusing food, that's your cue to cut back. Now, I know what you're thinking, but my fish always seem hungry. Trust me, I get it. Fish are opportunist eaters. In the wild, they never know when their next meal is coming. So they'll eat whenever food is available. But in your tank, you are in control of their diet. Think of it like this. You're not just feeding your fish, you're managing an entire ecosystem. So every bit of food that goes into your tank affects the water quality. It's all connected. You know, so by feeding your fish the right amount, you're actually taking care of the whole tank. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Different fish have different needs. Some are grazers that need small amounts of food throughout the day, while others do fine with one meal a day. Do a bit of research on your specific fish species to figure out what works and what's best for them. And hey, if you're worried about your fish going hungry, there are other ways to keep them entertained. Try adding some live plants to your tank. Not only do they look great, but many fish love to nibble on them throughout the day. It's like giving them a salad bar. Now remember, a healthy aquarium is all about balance. It's not just about the fish. It's about the water quality, the beneficial bacteria, the plants, and proper feeding plays a huge role in maintaining that balance. So next time you're tempted to give your fish a little extra, think twice. Your fish will be healthier, your tank will be cleaner, and you'll save yourself a lot of headaches down the line. Trust me, your underwater friends will thank you for it. All right, let's recap what we've learned about keeping our fish happy and healthy. We've uncovered some major mistakes that can turn your underwater paradise into a disaster zone in a hurry. From uncycled tanks that are like fish cities without proper plumbing, to chlorine-filled water changes that can harm your aquatic buddies, and even the dangers of overfeeding. We've covered a lot of ground, but here's the thing. Knowing about these issues is like having a superpower for fish keeping. You're now equipped to spot the problems before they get out of hand. It's all about being proactive and keeping an eye on your tank. So take a good look at your aquarium. Are your fish acting weird? And is the water looking a bit off? Use what you learned to figure out what's going on. Remember, a healthy tank is a happy tank, and you've got the knowledge to make it happen. Thanks.